This news is brought to you by Donald Hillis Realty and Auction.
It's an estate auction coming up Saturday, January the 31st at 10 a.m. from Donald Hillis Realty and Auction Company. The estate auction is at 250 Circle Hill Drive. It's the estate of Diana Butcher. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home, kitchen and dining combo, great room, den, and utility room. Outside is an 18 by 24 detached garage, all situated on a 100 by 150 foot level lot. For more information, contact Randy England, auction agent, at 808-3203 or call Donald Hillis Realty at 473-7774.
In the Main Street Journal news, the Warren County High School wrestling team saw its dual season end Thursday night with a narrow 36-35 loss to Blackburn in the opening round of the Region 4 AA dual tournament. The match finished tied at 35, forcing officials to use tie-breaking criteria, which sent Blackburn to the next round. Blackburn later won the region title with a lopsided victory over Stewart's Creek. The loss came just 2 nights after Warren County fell in the District 7 AA championship, but the Pioneers responded with one of their strongest performances of the season against a top-ranked opponent. Warren County won multiple key bouts, including pins late in the duel that erased a deficit and forced the tie. The Pioneers finished the dual season with a 20-7 record and will now shift focus to the individual postseason, where wrestlers will compete for state tournament qualifications. More local news and sports are just a click away at mainstreetjournal.llc. Until next time, I'm Rob Nunley.
Warren County schools will be closed on Tuesday, January the 27th. Once again, Warren County schools will be closed on Tuesday, January the 27th. This weather update brought to you by Warehouse Discount Groceries.
It's time once again for some more great weekly specials from our friends at Warehouse Discount Groceries. Now listen to these. Angus Beef Bottom Round Roast, $5.99 a pound. Sundrop Dr. Pepper 7-Up RC Cola A&W 24-pack cans, just $9.99. 5-pound bag of Idaho Gold potatoes, $2.99. And Coffee Mate 32-ounce liquid creamer, just $2 for $7. Don't forget their full-service deli. All these great deals and more from our friends at Warehouse Discount Groceries, 835 Smithville Highway on the Strip.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Brett Luna. The freezing rain has come to an end, but the impacts will stick around. Cold weather advisories and extreme cold warnings are in effect until noon Tuesday for wind chill values as low as 10 degrees below zero. There won't be a whole lot of melting today with high temperatures only in the upper teens. Tuesday, we'll get temperatures a little bit above freezing with high temperatures in the mid-30s.
I was stuck in a state of panic and endless rituals, so I made the call.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Welcome to Behind the Mic. I'm your host, Chad Graves. You can listen on the radio at 97.7 WBMC, on our app, on our Facebook Live, and on our YouTube channel. Joining us today is an extremely special guest, is Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator Blackburn, thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day. Before we dive in, I want to acknowledge and thank you for your many years of service to Tennessee, from your time in the State Senate to the U.S. House of Representatives and now the U.S. Senate.
Well, thank you so much. It is an honor to serve Tennesseans, and whether I've been in the House or the Senate or back in the State Senate, to be able to address the issues that are important to Tennesseans, to look at how we make sure that everyone's voice is being heard. And that is something we do every single year. We do a 95-county tour every year and get the opportunity to visit firsthand with Tennesseans and hear what's on their mind.
Well, I also wanted to mention that my wife, Emily, and I are pharmacy owners, and I know that your daughter-in-law actually has a podcast called Talk to Your Pharmacist, and we've actually really enjoyed listening to that podcast, and it's been helpful for independent pharmacies.
Yes, indeed. And Hillary is someone who, like I do, believes in the importance of independent pharmacies. And, one of the pieces of legislation I'm pushing through right now that I know is important to you and other independent pharmacists is the pharmacy benefit manager reform. It's called PBM reform. And this would move these PBMs, which President Trump calls them the middlemen.
Mm-hmm.
They get into the picture between the insurance company and the pharmacy, the pharmaceutical manufacturer, and they set a price. And then they say you can only buy it from these certain pharmacies. And by the way, the rebate is going to go to the insurance company and the PBM, and you, the patient, you're going to be paying the full load. So, moving them to a flat service fee and requiring them to use any willing provider, which is our independent pharmacies that serve hundreds of thousands of Tennesseans, and independent pharmacies are very strong in our state. So, as we do another reconciliation bill this year, we are hopeful that's going to be in it. And as you know, Chad, I got this through Senate Finance last year, and now we're hopeful to get it to the president's desk.
Well, I know that has been a little difficult to push through because the PBMs have tons and tons of money to lobby to keep things the way that they are. But we are so thankful that you guys have helped to push this through. It has been very, very helpful. It has.
Well, we're staying on it, and we're not giving up at all. So you're going to know that we're continuing to work as hard as we can to get this done.
So I know that you've worked on legislation affecting families and children. I myself I'm a girl dad. I have 3 teenage daughters, and I know that you've worked on the Kids Online Safety Act. Why is that legislation important to you?
Well, I'm a mom and a grandmom. And in talking with my children and grandchildren and with some of their friends, and then, of course, hearing from preachers and teachers and parents and pediatricians, and what is that children are meeting drug dealers, pedophiles, they're meeting predators, groomers, sex traffickers in the virtual space. And these platforms know whether it's Meta, the metaverse, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Google, YouTube, they know that children are meeting bad actors in these spaces, but they are choosing to do absolutely nothing about it. So it is vitally important that we pass the Kids Online Safety Act. It came out of the Senate last year on a 91-3 vote. We were really pleased with that. It is totally bipartisan, as you can see. And we are hopeful that the House is going to finish it this year, and we're going to be able to get it to the president's desk.
Well, as a parent, I am certainly thankful that you're helping to push that through, because I know that it's a problem. It is.
It is.
So we've obviously had a winter storm here in Tennessee. And I wanted to know, how has that impacted you? Has that been a problem for you personally?
Well, we live up on top of a hill, and getting down is pretty much impossible right now unless you're willing to walk it, which is what we are doing. And we lost power and had to go to a generator. And what we are very concerned about is the loss of life in our state. We're concerned about people being able to stay off the roads and to stay warm. I just had a text from a family member that had a tree go through some windows in their house, and we're like everybody else. So we're going to start the process. My husband's out right now with a chainsaw trying to get limbs off the driveway, and our son-in-law and the grandsons were out yesterday trying to clear their driveway and then their street in order to help all of their neighbors. And my son said he was taking some fuel. He was able to get out, so he had a friend that had run out of fuel and he was taking some fuel over to that friend. So we're very grateful to President Trump that immediately upon Governor Lee sending the request for a declaration, a disaster declaration, President Trump approved that. I mean, he got it done immediately. And that allowed those federal resources to be able to immediately come into our state. We are here in the mid-state, and we understand that Nashville Electric Service alone has 175 customers, that is residences and businesses, 175,000 customers who are without power. We also know that the other local distributors, municipal distributors, co-ops are also, they have large numbers, tens of thousands of people without power. We know that there are 3 that have lost their lives. We pray for those families and those that lost their loved ones. And then we also know it is imperative to say a thank you to the National Guard and the Tennessee Highway Patrol and others that are out trying to do well checks, trying to move people to safety, trying to assist people who are dealing with this.
Well, I wanted to say a thank you to the Tennessee Department of Transportation for keeping our roads clear.
Yes.
Because they really
Yes.
have. On my drive in this morning on our state roads, they were salted and cleared. A lot of the side streets were still covered in ice because they're just so hard to get to every road. But they had done a great job taking care of the roads. They have.
I agree with you. TDOT has responded. They got brine out on the roadways on Friday and started making the way clear. They had plows out. And to all of those workers that have worked tirelessly in this very cold weather, we just say a heartfelt thank you. And we just pray that God is going to be gracious and merciful to us as we work through this cleanup and as we assist our neighbors and friends.
So, Senator, we had a question on our social media post that one of the questions was we received from viewers about accessibility. Some feel they haven't had the opportunity to attend a town hall in recent years. How do you stay connected with the constituents?
Oh my goodness. We make every effort to do that. I do the 95 county tour. We get into every county and we are there holding meetings. We do so many civic clubs like Rotaries and Civitans and Kiwanis, and we are out and about doing different events in counties. We also do a podcast. We do a weekly newsletter, and that newsletter goes out to about 500,000 Tennesseans every single week. We are on social media. And we do Tennessee Tuesday when we are in DC and have Tennesseans come in. So if someone is wanting to get answers on an issue or hear about where we are or what we're doing on an issue, they should go to our website, blackburn.senate.gov. They should watch to find out when we're going to be in their community. We always post pictures as we are out and about, and come meet us. We would love to meet them.
I'm sure that you love talking to the people, and you don't get elected without being a person that talks to lots of people. So you've served Tennessee at both the state and federal level. And your name often comes up in conversation about the governor's office. What would motivate you to make that transition, and how would serving as governor differ from your work in the Senate?
Yes, serving as a governor is going to be a wonderful, uh, a wonderful position to hold, to work to make certain Tennessee becomes America's conservative leader. President Donald Trump is sending power, responsibility back to the states every single day, whether it is health care, education, energy, whether it is benefits. So look at how it's up to the governors now to root out fraud. The issue of illegal immigration, that is coming back to the states and our local communities. So with all of that power and authority coming back, and it's things that we as conservatives have long said ought not to be in DC in the first place. They should be with the local or the state government. And so now it is going to be our shot to work with our General Assembly, to work with our local mayors, our county mayors, and to do a reset for our state that will put us in position for the next couple of decades. And I think it's going to be so exciting. When you look at what is happening with energy, Nuclear Network News just ranked Tennessee as the #1 state in the potential for generating nuclear power. And of course, we all know coal and nuclear is where you're going to get baseload power. So, what a great opportunity for us. And I was over at Oak Ridge on Friday announcing a grant that that Centrus, an employer over there, has received. And I am grateful that Governor Lee and the General Assembly has put such an emphasis on nuclear. We are positioned to be #1. The U.S. Department of Education, they are going to be shutting their doors. That power and responsibility is coming back to the state. And now the state school board, our Tennessee Board of Regents, our General Assembly, our State Department of Education, and the local departments of education, we're going to be able to make changes in testing, in delivery, in curriculum, in how we make certain that every single child in the state learns how they learn, that they get a great education. And whether they're going on to a TCAT or whether they're going to a university, that they are going to be able to excel. When it comes to healthcare, there's nobody better that innovates in healthcare than Tennesseans. And we're going to have the opportunity to change that delivery of healthcare as we move forward, especially when it comes to rural health care. One of the things that in the Working Families Tax Cut Big Beautiful Bill, what we did was to develop a rural healthcare transformation fund. I was a big part of that. And this is grants that come to our localities to innovate in delivery of access and also healthcare and those outcomes, and to be able to work with our local communities and our rural hospitals and say, this is how we do more. I worked hard to get that Rural Healthcare Transformation Fund in the bill and get it passed. And I was thrilled that when the first round of grant announcements were made, Tennessee is getting $206 million a year for the next 5 years, each year. That will help us invest in how we deliver health care and how we make certain that every Tennessean has access to affordable health care.
Well, I do appreciate that, and healthcare is obviously a big part of our entire state's economy.
Yes.
So I wanted to move over to a topic that is, I don't know, it's widely discussed right now. Immigration and public safety continue to be major concerns for many Tennesseans. There have been recent acts of violence across the country, raising new concerns. What are your thoughts on how federal immigration policy and enforcement should be working to keep communities safer.
And what we want to do is make certain that those that are illegally in the country, those that have orders of deportation against them, those that have committed crimes, that they're going to be held to account. And we know that already you have had over 3 million illegal entrants into the country actually self-deport. They're taking the free ticket back to their home country, the $1,000 stipend per family member. And then, of course, their appointment is set up at the embassy or the consulate that is closest to them in their home country, and they can go in and get their paperwork in order and come back legally. Now, what we have seen also is ICE is apprehending those that have those orders of deportation. Sometimes, and most often, these are individuals that have committed crimes. President Trump said he was going to make America safer. That's what the American people wanted for. People that have committed these violent crimes, murder, rape, assault, aggravated assault, child molestation, all those violent crimes, robbery, then they should be held to account and deported. And that is what is happening. I was pleased to see that Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton and Republican leader Jack Johnson and other Republican leaders in the General Assembly rolled out a package of bills the first day, the opening day of the General Assembly. And they are going to focus on illegal immigration. And I do have to say this. I know we have seen over 20 federal agencies working in Memphis, and they have worked closely with the mayor and the police chief, and they have deported just they've deported numerous criminal illegal aliens. They have made over 6,000 arrests of violent criminals. And we know that they are continuing to work to get crime under control there in Memphis. They have cut the crime rate in half in 120 days. The crime rate is the lowest it has been in decades. They've also rescued 142 missing children.
Wow. Well, I know that that's a topic that continues to come up, and I appreciate you answering that question. And I wanted to give you some time if you wanted to talk to Tennesseans, and just in closing, let you say whatever you needed to say to Tennesseans.
Well, I so appreciate that. I hope that everyone listening, and many of your listeners may have been on one of our telephone town halls. Every county also gets a telephone town hall every year. And I hope they've had the opportunity to join us there. I would encourage them, go to our website, blackburn.senate.gov, and sign up for our newsletter. Let us know if you're coming to D.C. or if there are events and things that you want me to be aware of that are going on in your community. Follow us on social media at Marsha Blackburn and stay in touch with us. It is such an honor to serve. We appreciate the opportunity to hear from Tennesseans and to work on issues that are important to them. Reach out to us. Let us know how we can best serve you.
Thank you so much, Senator Blackburn, for joining me today. It is quite an honor for you to join and give me a few minutes of your time today. I really do appreciate it. We want to thank our listeners for tuning in to Behind the Mic. I'm Chad Graves. You can listen on 97.7 WBMC, our app, watch on Facebook and YouTube. And again, Senator, thank you again for taking the time to talk with us today.
I'm delighted to join you. Thank you so much.
And you are invited to come speak at our Rotary Club whenever you want to.
I would love that.
All right. Excellent.
Yes, extend the invitation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right, bye.
Step inside the cafe at Tree City, McMinnville's coziest hidden gem. Once the lobby of the inn at Tree City, it's now a warm, inviting cafe filled with soft couches, low and high-top tables. The perfect spot to sip, relax, or get some work done with free Wi-Fi. Enjoy locally roasted coffee, espresso, and handcrafted drinks that rival any national coffee shop, but with small-town charm you won't find anywhere else. Come see what everyone's talking about. The cafe at Tree City on Sparta Street in McMinnville. Your perfect spot to sip, study, or just stay a while.
I'm Tim Hitchcock, inviting you to join me every Tuesday at 5 for Hey Hey Hitchcock, proudly presented by Farm Credit Mid-America. We're talking everything green, from backyard gardening tips to big ag insights, plus special guests from right here in the nursery capital of the world. Tune in on 97.7 WBMC every Tuesday at 5 or catch us streaming live on Facebook. Also available on YouTube.
At Pioneer Building Supply, we're your one-stop shop for lumber, tools, and building supplies. Whether you're tackling a major renovation or just need a few materials for a small project, we've got you covered. From framing to finishing touches, we have the products and expertise to help you get the job done right. Stop by and see us today at 231 Northgate Drive, Suite 250, McMinnville, or give us a call at 931-473-7777. Our friendly, knowledgeable team is always ready to help you with whatever you need for your next project. For 50 years, Pioneer Building Supply has been the trusted name in construction materials. We've built our reputation on quality, service, and the commitment to your success. Pioneer Building Supply, building your dreams since 1975.
Pioneer Building Supply.
Pioneer Building Supply, where good business makes good friends.
Pioneer Building Supply.
Enter a world of action, suspense, comedy, and romance at 3-Star Cinema, where the latest stars shine and the perfect movie captivates you. Now showing
The Housemaid, rated R. Primate, rated R. 28 years later, The Bone Temple, rated R. Zootopia 2, rated PG. The SpongeBob Movie, rated PG.
Call the 24-hour movie line for showtimes at 473-7600. Experience your hometown movies at 3-Star Cinema.
This is Mark Marr with McMinnville Police Department, reminding you that when snow, sleet, or ice is on the roads, please slow down, maintain a safe distance from other vehicles, and be sure to have your vehicle lights on. These tips will help you get to where you're going safely.
Welcome back to Behind the Mic. As you can see, I do not have Marsha Blackburn sitting here with me right now. So I am joined by Mr. Ken Martin, who has been a family friend for as long as I can remember. So joining me today is Ken Martin, a current Warren County Commissioner who is running for another term. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And Ken has spent decades serving this community. He's been in law enforcement. He's been in banking, education, and local government. We're going to talk about his experience, county leadership, and what voters should expect moving forward. Ken, thank you for coming in today.
Well, thank you, Chad, for having me here. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to the people in the county and in my district and do whatever I can to help.
So Ken, let's establish who you are in the community. You told me that you've spent 23 years as a loan officer at Citibank.
That's correct.
Another 23 years at Security Federal.
That's correct also.
I don't see how you could be have that many years of experience, because you were a police officer.
When I got out of the Navy, I went to work for the McMinnville Police Department. Little less than 2 years, and then I was offered an opportunity to go to the Tennessee State Trooper, and I did that for between 2 and 3 years. I can't remember exactly, but I enjoyed both of them. And then I got a call from Citibank from a gentleman that worked there and asked me if I would go to work. And I first turned them down. I thought, I like my job. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And then I decided to go to the bank. And it was a good move. It was the best thing that I've done in my life. And I've been able to help people. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to give back. Whenever I got ready to do something, county commissioner was the best thing I could think to do that might help some of the folks in Warren County.
Mm-hmm. So how many years, because I know that you are going to run again, and you were appointed this second time around. Is that correct?
That is correct. When Kenneth Rogers was county executive, I went in the same time he did. I was elected 4 times, and I built a new house and moved out of the area, basically across the street, but I was still in another district, and I had to resign. And the 2 gentlemen that were in the district that I moved into, I did not want to run against. They was doing a great job, and I made the right decision, I think, not to run again. But back in August, a young lady that was a county commissioner, Casey Owens, I've never met. But what I can see and how she voted on stuff and how she's done a great job. But I went to Terry Bell, the current county executive, and told him I might be interested in doing that. He said, well, what you got to do is be voted in. Of course, I knew that because I'd been through it 2 or 3 times when somebody had left. So it's a little different, but it's basically the same. It's like riding a bicycle maybe with a broken pedal or something, but other than that, it's basically the same.
So
I enjoy it.
So you were a police officer, state trooper, and you were an educator. You taught at Montlow.
I sure did. I taught at Montlow 7 years as an adjunct professor, taught finance, and did that when I was working. Most of the time it was with City Bank, and the president was gracious enough to let me do that, and I spent a lot of time doing it, and I enjoyed it. I did that after he basically sent me to school. When I graduated from the Graduate School of Banking in Louisiana, when I decided I wanted to try to teach some classes, and I'm glad I did that. I enjoyed it. I still run into people that I taught it, and I don't know who they are usually when they come in, but they know me, and they'll say, hi, Mr. Martin, you remember me? And I do not, but anyway, I'm glad they remember me. And I was glad to be reappointed as commissioner because the people that voted for me that night were people that I worked with. That made me feel good, and I did not call them. I talked to one person. I was nominated, and they voted me in.
Well,
and I'm grateful for that.
I guess a few of them thought you did a pretty good job as a county commissioner.
They must have, or they wouldn't have voted for me.
That's right. So
I'd give it the best I could.
What's the most rewarding part of being a county commissioner?
Being able to get things done that need to be done. There's a lot of things that come up sometime, very important things. I'm on health and welfare, which means not only are we building a new health department right now out at the mall, animal control is involved in that. And I was in that the first time. The first 4 years I was in, I enjoyed it then. I'm enjoying it again. I love dogs and cats. And
yeah.
I have fun doing it, and they're doing a good job out there, the best job you can. You can't be perfect at doing any of that.
So I know Seth Wright has been out taking photos for the Main Street Journal, and he's been out at the animal shelter, and they're taking care of all of those animals out there.
We're trying our best. We got a good guy that's working there, Jeff Tubb, and he's doing a good job, and we're doing what Blaine got set up with a committee before I was there to take care of the dogs, and I think we're doing the best we can with them. There is pictures on Facebook where they've been taken care of.
So is there a timeline which we expect to have the new the animal shelter building completed?
I'm not sure exactly. It is going slow. But I've talked to Terry about it, and the reason it's going slow, he's saving the county a lot of money because when he comes up on something, they finish the blocks inside right before the cold weather hit. But somebody else was supposed to have done it, and they moved and never did get to it. But it's a lot cheaper to sub it out that way and do it yourself than it is just hire somebody to finish it. But it's coming along better than it looks from the highway.
Well,
it's coming along pretty good.
We talk about that pretty often here on this show, and on other shows too, because it's a topic that everyone wants to know about.
Sure they do, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I totally do.
All right, so you spent 2 years as a state trooper.
That's correct.
And 2 years as a city police officer. How did those early years shape your sense of responsibility to the public?
Well, it's just something that I wanted to do. When I was in the Navy, I was in the Shore Patrol for a little while, and I wrote letters to the state of Tennessee. I wanted to become a state trooper, and honestly, I never got an answer from them, so I thought, well, this is out of the reason. And when I was on the police department, I was also working another job at a service station, changing tires and stuff like that. And Tom Garman, who was sheriff in Warren County after he left the Highway Patrol, pulled up one day out of the blue, got out of the car and handed me an application. He said, fill that out and send it in. And I did. And I did hear from that. They called. I went down and interviewed and went through the academy. And I enjoyed doing it and was planning on doing it till I retired. But it was a little tight on money back then, and I was offered quite a bit more money to go to work for the bank, and I could not turn it down.
Oh.
I had to try it.
I can understand that completely. So, as a state trooper, so you worked as a city police officer first, and
That's
then
correct.
you decided you wanted to be a state trooper. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So,
well, I told you how I decided.
Yeah.
It just happened that way.
Mm-hmm. So, and you worked at the governor's mansion for a little while.
For a short period, 3 or 4 months. I really enjoyed being on the road more than I did. My main job was sitting at a TV screen watching cars come in and checking to see who was in them. It was a little bit boring at times. You'd sit there a long time, wouldn't see anybody. So I wanted to get back on the road, and I made the right decision then. I enjoyed it more when I went back.
So you mentioned to me earlier that as a state trooper, you were the first person on the scene when String Bean was
David Ackerman.
David
String
Ackerman.
Bean.
So who was that? That was a little before me, I think.
He was on a program called Hee Haw, Country Music. And I got a call. I was getting off from work, actually. I'd already went in the station to get back in my car and go check it out, and they gave me the address and how to get there. And they said, Grandpa Jones will be standing out by the road. And I thought, this is a hoax. This is not going on, but it was. When I got out of the car, he said, come with me if you can. And he lived a little ways off the road in really a little shack. It wasn't a very big house. He lived very modestly. But I passed his wife in the driveway, and we went on down to the house where he was. But she had been running, obviously, and they had shot her right in the back of the head. And he was laying across the hearth where the fireplace was. And I looked in the window and I told Grandpa Jones, I don't know what his name really was. That was his stage name, that we needed to go back down to the road and I needed to call Metro Police because this wasn't something I could handle and we didn't need to disturb the scene. So that's what I did. And I was there probably 30 or 40 minutes before they got there, basically just talking to him.
Wow. Yeah, that I guess that will shape your point of view there for to be a state trooper, and you decided that wasn't really what you wanted to do.
Well, again, it was more the money than anything else. I was young, had a child, and my wife and I were struggling. So, it was a lot more money, and I thought, well, I got to try it. They were looking for a collector. I used to tell them I've jumped out of the firing pan into the fire here. but you don't have much authority when you're just out there as a banker saying when you're going to pay me.
Well, and I know that your son, Mark, is also in law enforcement.
Yeah, Mark has been with the Sheriff's Department probably 26 or 27 years. he was gone 3 years with TVA. He was a policeman with them through the Federal Law Enforcement Academy and became a TVA policeman. And when the current sheriff went back in, they were partners at one time. He called my son, and he's chief deputy in Warren County and back out there.
Well,
and loves it.
Well, Mark was always a few years older than me, and I know that growing up, we went to church together, and Mark was always a few years, and I would always watch Mark because he was always, he was the older kid that I was always watching.
Well, I'd have to brag on him. He is a good son. He's 50, will be 51 next September, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
but he enjoys what he's doing, and him and little Jack get along great. And what they do, two different things, but of course he has to answer to Jack. But they're friends and have been for a long time and work well together as far as I know.
Well, Ken, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we want to talk about some county governance and some decision-making that goes into the county and maybe some issues that are coming up that you'd like to address.
Okay.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Behind the Mic, sitting down with Ken Martin on WBMC.
This news update brought to you by Coffee Bank and Trust.
Looking for a loan? At Coffee Bank and Trust, we make it happen. From business goals to personal dreams, we specialize in finding a way to get you approved fast. Better listening, better solutions, better banking. Because at Coffee Bank and Trust, we're committed to serving you better. Come home to Coffee Bank and Trust, a division of Coffee County Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 646005. Coffee Bank and Trust. Believe in better.
In the Main Street Journal news, the Warren County High School wrestling team saw its dual season end Thursday night with a narrow 36-35 loss to Blackburn in the opening round of the Region 4AA dual tournament. The match finished tied at 35, forcing officials to use tie-breaking criteria, which sent Blackburn to the next round. Blackburn later won the region title with a lopsided victory over Stewart's Creek. The loss came just 2 nights after Warren County fell in the district's 7AA championship, but the Pioneers responded with one of their strongest performances of the season against a top-ranked opponent. Warren County won multiple key bouts, including pins late in the duel that erased a deficit and forced the tie. The Pioneers finished the dual season with a 20-7 record and will now shift focus to the individual postseason, where wrestlers will compete for state tournament qualifications. More local news and sports are just a click away at mainstreetjournal.llc. Until next time, I'm Rob Nunley.
This weather brought to you by McMinnville Moving and Storage.
For more than 60 years, families and businesses across Middle Tennessee have turned to McMinnville Moving and Storage when it's time to move what matters most. From local moves to cross-state journeys, we've built our reputation on reliability, care, and a commitment to our community. We are not just a moving company. We're your neighbors, helping make every transition smooth and stress-free. Wherever life takes you, we'll get you there safely. Visit McMinnvilleMoving.com today. McMinnville Moving and Storage, proudly serving Middle Tennessee for over 6 decades.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Brett Luna. The freezing rain has come to an end, but the impacts will stick around. Cold weather advisories and extreme cold warnings are in effect until noon Tuesday for wind chill values as low as 10 degrees below zero. There won't be a whole lot of melting today with high temperatures only in the upper teens. Tuesday, we'll get temperatures a little bit above freezing with high temperatures in the mid-30s.
Welcome back to Behind the Mic. I am Chad Graves, sitting down with Ken Martin. So, Ken, you were a county commissioner once before, stepped away for a little while, and have returned. So,
That's correct.
Is there anything that you see a little more clearly now and your second time as a county commissioner than you did the first time?
Well, I know how it works. I know how the government works because I've done it all. I was elected 4 times, almost 16 years. Somebody told me the other day that I had been gone for almost 8 years, and I did not know that.
Wow.
But, right now I'm just trying to get my feet on the ground and see how it comes up. Next thing, I got to try to get reelected at this point. But I love being a commissioner, and I enjoy the campaigning. I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I'm not a door knocker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that a lot because I don't like people knocking on my door, wanting to campaign and stuff. But you have to do it; it's part of it. But I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to May, because there's 3 Republicans running. One of us will be done.
That's right. That's right.
Only 2 move forward.
Yeah. So, are there others that are going to run as independents or on the Democratic ticket?
Well, I don't know. The only one that I know picked up papers was Junior out at Jay's restaurant. He picked up papers for county executive and county commissioner, and I hadn't heard anything since the last time I talked to him.
We had him on the show the other morning, and we thought that we were going to get him to tell us what he was going to run for, and he said that he still wasn't sure. Yeah.
Well, I understand that.
I do too. All right, so I wanted to ask about, with your banking experience, you spent 46 years as a loan officer. Right. Does that help you in the county government and help to control the spending of the county?
I can look at a spreadsheet, and I can read a spreadsheet. A lot of folks can't read them.
Mm-hmm.
But now when I looked at the counties, whenever I went on budget and finance, that was one of the committees I was on. It was like being in kindergarten trying to learn the numbers around here like they're ridiculous. And everybody's always said it's just more zeros. It sure is, but it's what you do here affects things. The school system, the library, if you vote to give them money, if it's not specifically one time, you got to give it to them again next year. It's called a maintenance of effort. So many things you have to learn over the years that most people don't think about. And we're spending taxpayers' money, so we have to be careful what we do. And I think we did a good job when I was in there before. And I certainly am going to try to. I told you I was on health and welfare. I'm also on the correctional partnership at the jail. And before, I was chairman of policy and personnel. And we had to hire all the judicial commissioners that write warrants out the jail. And I really enjoyed that. That was an experience. You interviewed all of them, and one of them's a district attorney right now, assistant district attorney. And, same thing, really.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times our judicial commissioners would have to call the DAs and say, how much is the bail going to be, or do I need to charge them, or what I charge them with, because they're not attorneys. But I enjoyed that too.
You're on multiple committees, and you've been on, I guess, I don't know if you've been on every single committee over the years.
Not. One they didn't want me on was the one that directly affects the sheriff's office.
Right.
And because my son worked there. And although correctional partnership does, but it's more getting the garage ready, which is something we got in the mill. They just got a new roof on that building out there behind the sheriff's office. We're going to have a garage there. We hired a guy that's going to change the oil and teach inmates how to do this. And it's going to save the county a bunch of money. All the patrol cars can have their oil changed and serviced there at that one spot.
So ultimately, being a county commissioner is helping to determine how to spend the county's money.
Tax money.
Yeah,
That's
the tax
absolutely
money.
Correct. It's y'all's money we're looking at.
Yes. So our money, a lot of people, they don't fully grasp that, but that's really the job of a county
That's
commissioner.
the main power the commissioners have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can't tell the sheriff how to run his office or any of the elected officials. They were hired by the county in their districts or their area, or the county, and most of them's. I can't imagine running for a countywide office, but that's quite a chore. But they are elected, and we can't tell them how to run their business.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we're there for. They ask for money, and if we can get it to them, we do.
So is there a county expense that may not be popular with the public that you think is absolutely necessary?
Well, a lot of times we have to have fire trucks. We have to have patrol cars. And sometimes all of that's not popular with the people in the county. It is most people, but there's some that really say it's, you don't need to, they're not old enough, or, they're old when we get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be replaced. And you got to have fire trucks, got to have ambulances, got to have patrol cars. I mean, that's what you pay your taxes for, to have the services.
That's right. So I guess, are there some things that we spend money on at the county that you think that we maybe should cut back on?
Well, at this point, we run pretty close on the budget, and I'm not on budget and finance anymore when I was before. There's always something that you think, well, we spent maybe a little too much money here, or shouldn't have done that. A lot of people fuss about the money we give to nonprofits. But I'm going to tell you, all these nonprofits that ask for money need the money. Mm-hmm. They all do. And you can't give them all of them what they want, but you try to give them what you can. And I don't know how they do it now, but when I was commissioner before, the chairmen of all the committees would have that meeting, just them, and with the county executive, and you decide how much money you was going to give each organization.
So have you ever had disagreements with your other county commissioners, and how do you guys come to an agreement?
Well, actually, as a county commissioner, you're not supposed to talk to them about something that's coming up, and I try real hard not to. I mean, you just can't do it if you're not supposed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there is disagreements in committee meetings, especially. Somebody will really be against something that maybe the chairman is for, and he brings it up, and sometimes it don't go well. I'll put it that way. But I don't know how else to answer that.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the full committee has to vote on everything that comes out of the committee, the full county commission.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out pretty good usually.
Yeah, usually, obviously, the majority ends up, I guess, winning the vote.
That's correct.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the community and senior center. So I know that you're on the board of the senior center.
I am,
and have been for a little while now.
Over a year. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy going to the senior. My wife took me out there. She wanted to do. They have an exercise program, and she wanted me to sign up. She said, "You might want to come." And I decided to go over to the old place on the Marsha Road. And I told her when I left, I said, I probably won't never be back. Well, that's been close to 3 years, I guess, and I may have missed 10 days on There's something new coming up all the time, and I love going out there, and I love being around all those folks. And again, I feel like I'm helping. And I know you got to be 60 years old. Obviously, I'm a little older than that. But I serve at every meal, and I enjoy it, and I talk to them. I know what kind of drink they want, if they want tea or water or whatever, and I've learned their names. And it's just a fun experience.
Would you tell Stanley and Sherry that they should
Your
go?
mom and dad?
Yeah.
Okay. I have, but it hadn't turned out well. We go on day trips occasionally. We do that at church, too. Obviously, I go to church with your mom and dad. But Stanley will do those. He usually drives the bus, but I can't get him to go on any of the trips with us. And we do some. I went to Alaska last year. I would have never dreamed I'd ever get to go to Alaska, but it's very reasonable, these trips are. We went to Alaska, and we're going on a cruise to Nova Scotia this year. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, Ken, we're actually getting pretty close to our time already, but let's dive into something. So, is there a priority that you want to focus on in your next term?
Well, it's going to depend on if Mr. Bell comes back as a county executive, what committees he puts me on, and I haven't talked to him about that. The committees I'm on now was what the lady that was commissioner before me was on. So there will be some probably if I'm on budget and finance or if I'm on whatever committee. But right now, I really, like I said, I've not been there that long, and I am secretary of the correctional partnership out to jail. That's a terrible job. It's hard to keep up, write down everything, and keep up with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I get them to stop every once in a while. I said, I've wrote this down, but tell me again why you're bringing this up or what it's for. I like to listen and determine what's best for the folks in my district and the whole county. I've never been ashamed of any way I've voted.
So have you had people talk about disagreements or have been mad at you about a way that you voted? You got to be real quick because we only got about a minute.
Yeah, that's the only ones you ever hear from. You don't hear from the ones that are happy with you. It's the ones that are really unhappy. And it's usually, they never really usually single you out. They'll say the whole commission. And I know this is awful to say, but maybe they need to run and see what it's like and give it a shot.
That is a really good point. Well, Ken, I know that I feel like we're wrapping up. This is a really, really fast, really quick.
And I do appreciate you letting me come on the program.
Well, I've loved talking to you. I have. You've been a family friend for as long as I can remember.
I actually remember when you were a baby at Bobby's. I sure do.
Well, Ken, thank you very much. You're a county commissioner and a candidate.
WBMC McMinnville, 960 AM and 97.7 FM. WBMC.